It's something about the corner store after midnight that feels like a trap. The flickering neon light buzzing above the door, the smell of stale beer leaking out every time someone pushes it open, the way the street stays half empty but never fully quiet. I should have known better. I came out with a black and mild tucked behind my ear, a bag of chips in one hand and a little pint of Henny in the other. My car was parked down the block under a busted streetlight that barely lit the cracked pavement. Hood shit. Regular shit. Nothing new to me. But there was something in the air thick, sticky, like heat even though the night was cool. My gut twitched, the kind of twitch you only get when the streets are whispering that something's about to happen. I adjusted my hoodie, scanned quick left and right, but didn't see nothing. Just an old head nursing a 40 by the corner, muttering to himself. Just a stray dog trotting across the street with his ribs showing, just shadows stretching too long. I kept walking. That's when it hit hard, fast, and sharp against the back of my skull. My knees buckled before my brain caught up. The bag slipped out my hand, glass cracking against the ground. I tried to spin, tried to reach, but everything went black before I even hit the pavement. I woke up to damp air and concrete. My head pounded like someone was banging pots inside my skull. The first thing I noticed was the smell of mildew, mold, and something rusty like old blood. My hands were tied behind me, wrists burning against rough rope. My ankles, too. I was in some kind of basement, low ceiling. One weak bulb swinging overhead, throwing shaky shadows across the walls, the sound of dripping water somewhere close. And them. Two men in black ski masks sitting quiet in folding chairs like they'd been waiting for me to wake up. They didn't say nothing. Didn't move. Just watched. The silence was worse than the ropes. My throat was dry. I wanted to talk, to demand, to curse, but something in me said, shut the fuck up. My heart was banging too loud anyway. One of them finally stood. He wasn't tall, but his presence filled the room heavy. He walked slow, deliberate, the way killers move in movies, except this wasn't no movie. His boots scraped the concrete as he came over and yanked me up by my hoodie. The first punch landed square in my gut. My whole body folded, breath tearing out of me. Before I could suck in air, the second came across my jaw, snapping my head sideways. Then it began. It felt like an hour of fists, boots, and silence. No questions, no demands. Just punishment. Every hit felt personal, like they had a reason but didn't care to share it. The worst part was the quiet between blows. That pause when I thought maybe it was done, then crack. Knuckles split my lip, or my ribs screamed, or my head rattled again. Time lost shape, my face swelled, my body slunk. I tasted blood, metal thick on my tongue. My left eye was closing, puffed up. I wanted to black out again, but they wouldn't let me. Every time I drifted, they brought me back with pain. Finally, the smaller one stepped back. My breath was ragged, chest burning. The other stood and pulled a knife from his pocket. I don't know what this was about, but it wasn't Gabriel. He was livid when I first robbed him. The first week after I robbed him, he had me a little shook. Had my car vandalized for the point the insurance company totaled it. Left death threats on my phone. Told me that if I kept ignoring him, his family handlers would handle me, and that's all I needed to hear. And I didn't want to call his bluff. I went to his place and apologized. Told him he had backed me into a corner that I wasn't ready to be in. I lied and told him I had feelings for him as well. I told him whatever he wanted to hear that night. Made promises didn't plan on keeping, but it brought me more time. I told him my car was burglarized and the file was missing. He stared at me for a while, I guess thinking on if he should decide to believe me or not. And he ultimately decided to let it go that night. As long as I kept giving Gabriel the attention he wanted, which was him sucking me off occasionally, he was happy. He promised we never had to go beyond him pleasing me. He told me he gave him a hide to suck on me. As for me, well, it was just good head. I got hard and I got my nut, but I was in no way interested in having sex with a man. I wasn't gay. I would think of a way to get from under Gabe later. The long, sharp knife that glinted under the swinging bulb. For the first time, one of them spoke. His voice was low, distorted like he was pressing it down, but it carried weight.
You're here because you don't honor women nor family.
The words hit harder than the fists. My mind spun, trying to grab onto what he meant, what he thought he knew. Before I could form a thought, before I could beg or deny, the blade flashed, white-hot fire ripped across my cheek. I screamed, raw and broken, the sound bouncing off those concrete walls. Blood poured hot down my neck. My vision blurred. And then nothing.
It was close to 7 in the evening when the phone lit up on my desk. The house was quiet. Too quiet. Just me, a half-empty glass of whiskey, and the tick of that old clock that sounded louder when I had too much on my mind. Rick. I already knew it. It wasn't a social call. I hit answer. Yeah. His voice came through steady, no hesitation.
Damon's handled.
I didn't say a word, just leaned back in my chair and let the silence hang. Rick cleared his throat.
But there's something else you need to know.
I waited.
Damon was fucking the son of that powerful man. Last name start with a G. The son is who he robbed.
My eyes narrowed on the desk. What do you mean he was fucking him? Rick didn't miss a beat.
Exactly what I said, he was fucking him. You see why no one ever touched him now, huh?
For a second, everything went still. No sound, no thought. Just that quiet click in my head when something finally makes sense. The whole picture rearranged itself in front of me, clean, simple, and ugly. Thanks, I said finally, voice flat. I ended the call. The room felt heavier now. I set the phone down, picked up my glass, and stared at the amber swirl inside. Damon always had secrets, but this one, I didn't see coming. I heard the door close, followed by Ari's usual burst of energy filling the house. Her footsteps echoed down the hallway light and quick, her voice bouncing behind her. Then Jada's voice followed, quieter, more measured. There was a different edge to it tonight. I listened as she took Ari to her room. A few moments later, the soft click of a door, then silence, until she stepped into my office. She didn't say anything at first, just walked in and closed the door behind her. I looked up from my desk. Everything all right? She stayed near the door, arms crossed.
How long?
I straightened. How long what? She gave me a look. No need for explanation. I already knew.
The Suburban. How long has someone been following me?
I exhaled through my nose slowly. Since your first morning here. Her brows drew together slightly.
That long?
Yeah. She took a beat.
Why?
Because you showed up with that big-ass knot on your forehead and wouldn't say his name. I needed to know who he was. If he was a danger to you.
And when you found out?
I met her gaze. I kept the security on you and Ari because by then I learned Damon is into something I don't want anywhere near you. She didn't respond right away. Her expression didn't shift. Just studied me, reading every word like she was peeling it apart.
You've been keeping that from me?
She said finally, calm. I didn't want to drop something heavy on you without reason, I told her. You and Ari were already settling into a new routine. I figured the less you had to worry about, the better.
And you thought not telling me someone was trailing me was better?
I didn't flinch. I thought protecting you meant not dragging you into what I found out. She took a slow breath.
So, you've known this whole time he was into something messy?
Yes.
So, you're not going to tell me what this is?
No. Her eyes narrowed a little, but her tone stayed even.
Why?
Because the details won't help anything. I don't want you involved.
That's not your choice to make for me.
Maybe not, but I made it anyway. I shrugged. Whether you choose to stay with me or not, that security detail is staying on you until I feel it's no longer needed. She shook her head once, not in anger, in disappointment.
I appreciate everything you do for me. I truly do, but I don't need protection from the truth.
I know, but I still don't want you carrying the weight of it. It's not yours to hold. Her arms dropped to her sides.
I'm not asking for all the details. I'm asking for honesty. I just want to be part of whatever's happening around me. I don't like being kept in the dark.
I get it. I nod my head.
I need you to trust me with what affects me and my daughter, even if it's uncomfortable.
I do trust you.
Then act like it.
I nodded. I will. From here on out, you'll know what you need to know. No filters. Just not this issue. She let that sit for a moment, eyes locked on mine. She wasn't shaking. She wasn't emotional. She was just firm, steady. The same woman who walked through hell and still stood with her back straight.
I'm going to go help Ari bathe and get ready for bed.
I reached for her hand, just enough to stop her. I meant what I said. You and Ari are safe. That's not changing. She looked at me, her expression unreadable. She pulled away gently and left the room without another word. I stood there for a long moment, listening to the faint sound of her voice calling for Ari down the hall. I stayed in my office long after Jada left. The quiet didn't feel peaceful. It felt heavy. Like the kind that settles in your bones when you've been holding back too much for too long. She hadn't yelled, she hadn't cried, she hadn't demanded anything out of line. But somehow her calm hit harder than anything else would have. She wanted honesty, and I hadn't given it to her. Not because I didn't trust her. The thought of her knowing everything I knew, Damon's debts, Damon's cheating with numerous women, and our connection to her father made something cold settle in my chest. I didn't plan to tell her about her father. It happened so long ago, and the nigga deserved what happened to him. I leaned on the edge of the desk, arms crossed, staring at the spot where she stood just minutes ago. So sure of herself, so sure of what she needed from me. I respected the hell out of it. But I wasn't sure I could give her everything she wanted. Tell her the truth about everything. Nah. I can provide for her. I can love on her. I can protect her. But some things she just doesn't need to know, I couldn't fathom her knowing. When it came to Damon, I still don't believe I know the full scope of what he was involved in, only that it was deep enough to make enemies I couldn't afford to underestimate. No, I wasn't ready to put that on her. She didn't need that kind of chaos seeping into the corners of her peace. The peace she'd fought for, the peace she was trying to rebuild for Ari. And yeah, maybe I was making that decision for her. Maybe she was right to call me out. But when I saw her walk into my office and ask how long she'd been followed, when I saw the look in her eyes, not fear, but firm resolve, I knew something was shifting. She didn't want to be sheltered. She wanted to be in it with me. I wasn't sure how to do that. Not fully, not without making her carry weight I didn't think she should carry. My phone buzzed. I looked down. Just a routine message from the man I hired, letting me know Ari and Jada had made it home safe. No threat. No tale tonight. All clear. Still, I didn't breathe easier. I rubbed my hands over my face and sat back down in my chair. The reports in front of me were untouched. I wasn't reading a damn thing tonight. Instead, I just stared at the wall and let the silence press in. There was a part of me that wanted to go to her. To sit next to her while she dried Ari's hair, or maybe just stand in the doorway and listen to them laugh again, but something held me back. Not guilt, just the realization that I was walking a tightrope between truth and silence, between protecting her and respecting her. Jada didn't want a shield. She wanted a partner, and if I wanted to keep her, really keep her, then I had to learn the difference. I stood, finally, and crossed to the office door. Opened it slowly. The house was quiet again. A faint hum of the blow dryer in the distance. Ari's voice rose in a muffled squeal, followed by Jada's low chuckle. That sound softened something sharp in my chest. They were my home now, whether I said it out loud or not.
When I woke, it wasn't the light that stirred me. It was the feeling of Malik, the weight of his hand resting low on my stomach. The soft drag of his fingers, slow and aimless, like he was still dreaming with his eyes open. Neither of us spoke. Not yet. Tasha came and picked up Ari yesterday for a sleepover with her daughter, so Malik and I was alone. I shifted beneath the sheet, feeling the hum of soreness between my legs. I turned in his arms slowly, facing him. His eyes were already on me, steady, hooded, that quiet intensity he always carried. It didn't scare me. It calmed me, grounded me, Our lips met in silence, slow and unhurried. There was no rush, no pulling or clawing, just mouths opening and closing in rhythm, tasting and breathing and pausing to press arm foreheads together in between. His hand slid up my thigh, calloused fingers dragging gently over skin that felt like fire under his touch. I didn't stop him. I opened to him like it was instinct, like my body had always been waiting for his. He slid lower without a word, pulling the sheet down with him. I let my eyes close, breath catching as his mouth found the softest part of me, his tongue moving with maddening patience. No hurry, no demand, just worship. Slow, wet circles and open-mouthed kisses that made my back arch and my fingers curl into the sheets. I whispered his name once, just once, and he hummed against me in response, like my voice fed him. When I came, it wasn't loud, it was deep, like something breaking open quietly inside me, a kind of surrender I didn't know I'd been holding back. When he rose, his face pressed against the inside of my thigh for a moment, as if he needed to feel my pulse there. And when he finally met my eyes again, I saw everything he wasn't saying. We didn't leave the room for hours. There were more kisses, softer ones, some pressed to my shoulder, others behind my knee. There were hands trailing slowly across backs, gripping hips, holding faces like they were breakable. There was laughter, lazy and low, shared over barely eaten toast we brought back from the kitchen. Later, we lay in bed, his hand moving through my curls, my leg draped across his. We watched the news, talked about current events. That night, he lit candles in the bathroom. The warm glow bounced off the marble as I rode him into ecstasy in this tub. He washed me gently, taking his time with every curve, every scar. I did the same for him, hands trembling a little from the intimacy of it. And when he took me again, slowly, from behind, his forehead resting against the back of my shoulder, it felt like something sacred, not just lust, not just healing, but freedom. I woke hours later to the smell of garlic, onion, and something sweet caramelizing in a pan. The low, steady sizzle wrapped around the house like a slow song, pulling me from sleep. The sunlight was golden, throwing soft shadows over Malik's back. He stood barefoot at the stove, shirtless, sweatpants riding low on his hips. One hand gripped the skillet's handle, the other sprinkled herbs in with a loose, practiced flick of his fingers. He was humming to himself, low, a little off-key, but the sound went straight through me. I lingered in the doorway, wearing nothing but one of my silk robes, nothing underneath. My skin was still warm from the bed, my hair mussed, my body lazy and restless all at once. This was not the Malik the world usually got to see. Out there, he was sharp edges and coiled strength, a man whose presence made rooms go quiet. But here, barefoot, cooking, humming, he was soft in a way that unspooled something inside me. I crossed the kitchen slowly until I was right behind him. My hand slid around his waist, my chest pressing against his back. He froze for a moment, then turned his head toward me. Before he could speak, I stepped to his side and turned him fully to face me. His eyes narrowed slightly, but there was heat there too, the kind that rose fast.
What you doing?
He asked, voice low. Instead of answering, I placed my palms flat on his warm, bare chest and pushed, not hard, but steady, guiding him backward away from the stove. His brows lifted, but he didn't resist. Each step he took was slow, controlled, his eyes never leaving mine. The scent of garlic and onion trailed with us, the sound of the skillet fading as I backed him toward the kitchen island. When the edge of it brushed the backs of his thighs, I stopped. Malik's hands came to rest loosely on my hips, as if curious to see where I was taking this. I let my fingers skim down his stomach, tracing the line of muscle until they met the waistband of his sweatpants. I hooked my thumbs inside and tugged. The fabric slid down his hips, pooling around his ankles. His breath deepened. I dropped to my knees, the tile cool under my bare skin. My palms smoothed up the backs of his legs, feeling the heat radiating from him. I want you in my mouth. I wrapped my hand around him, feeling him grow thick and heavy almost instantly. My thumb stroked along the ridge, my other hand steadying him at the base. Then I leaned forward and took him into my mouth. Malik's breath caught. One hand landed on the counter behind him, the other sliding into my hair. His grip wasn't forceful, just there, anchoring him, steadying me. I started slow, lips sealing around him, tongue tracing the sensitive underside in a slow swirl before sliding deeper. My mouth watered excessively, my jaw stretching to take more of him. The heat from the stove still clung to the air, mixing with the scent of food and the sharper, more primal scent of him. When I glanced up, he is watching me in amazement, his mouth parted, eyes dark with focus.
You trying to make me lose my mind?
I hummed around him in answer, letting the vibration roll through my throat. He swore under his breath, his hand tightening in my hair. I set my rhythm slow at first, letting him feel every inch of my mouth, every pass of my tongue, then deeper, wetter, taking him until my eyes watered from the stretch. The island edge pressed into his lower back as I drew him in again and again. My knees ached, but I didn't care. My whole body was tuned to him. The heat of his skin under my palms, the weight of him against my tongue, the small sounds he made when I hit the right spot.
Fuck Jay.
The words were low, rough, like they were pulled out of him. I slid my hands higher, gripping his hips to hold him in place. His thighs flexed under my palms, his breathing roughening as I took him deeper still. My mouth watered more, a rush of saliva making each glide smoother, wetter. When I looked up, our eyes locked. He didn't look away. His jaw tightened. I didn't break the stare. I just pulled back far enough to lick slowly up his length before taking him again all the way until the tip brushed the back of my throat. My eyes watered hard, but I relaxed my throat muscles around him, refusing to stop. He cursed, a deep sound, and his grip in my hair tightened, not too forceful, but to keep himself from losing control. His hips shifted once, slow but deliberate, pushing himself deeper into my mouth. My nails dug into his skin, grounding him there. I felt the change in him before it happened. The tension in his muscles, the way his breaths turned shallow and sharp, the warning pull of his body right before release.
Jay.
His voice broke on my name. The first hot pulse hit the back of my throat, followed by another and another. I swallowed each one, my mouth still around him, my tongue pressing to hold him there until the last shudder left his body. When I pulled back, I licked my lips slowly, tasting him, my chest rising with my own uneven breaths. Malik stayed still for a long moment, one hand still in my hair, his other gripping the edge of the island like he needed the support. His eyes were on me, heavy, unreadable, but burning all the same.
You good?
He asked finally, voice still wrecked. I smiled, slow and knowing. You already know the answer. He bent and kissed my cheek, lingering there for a beat before pulling his sweatpants back up. Without another word, he returned to the stove, grabbing the skillet and turning off the fire. The food looked past saving.
Probably overcooked.
He muttered. I laughed softly from the floor, still tasting him on my tongue. Don't care. He smirked over his shoulder.
You will in 20 minutes.
Maybe. But for now, I was full in a way breakfast could never touch.
The knock against the guest bedroom door echoed faintly in the quiet of my penthouse, but I didn't hesitate. I already knew she'd answer.
Why are you knocking, Leak?
Jada's voice called out, sharp and teasing even at this hour. I opened the door slowly, letting the glow from the city lights stretch across the floorboards. "Why do you insist on being in this room when you can be in mine?" I rebutted. Some nights Jada slept with me and some nights she slept with Ari or alone. I didn't press her on why. I was just content with her being under my roof. "Get dressed," I said, keeping it short, no explanation. She gave me that look, one eyebrow raised, like she didn't know if I was joking or serious.
For what?
She asked, her voice a mix of curiosity and caution. "Dress casual. Tasha's got Ari." "We're going out," I said, eyes steady on her. No hint of hesitation. Her gaze searched mine, trying to read me, but I let the silence do my talking. I closed the door behind me and left her to figure it out. I leaned against the wall outside, letting the city hum in my ears. It was quiet enough that I could hear my own thoughts bouncing around. I couldn't deny it. I was falling for her. Falling hard. And every time I imagined saying it aloud, I felt my chest tighten, my words choke up before they could leave my mouth. She wasn't ready to hear it. Not yet. And I couldn't risk it. Not tonight. Minutes later, she emerged from the room, dressed casual but effortless, confidence radiating in every step. She didn't need to try. She just had it. I noticed the way her hair fell over her shoulders, the faint sway of her hips, and I couldn't stop the small smile creeping across my face. Driving through the streets, the city was alive in neon lights, loud music, and honking horns. Her hand rested lightly in mine, thumb brushing against mine occasionally. Every little movement she made, the tilt of her head, the soft laugh when a car horn blared, was a reminder of what I wanted and what I couldn't give away yet. When we arrived, the line outside the lounge stretched down the block. I smiled at the bouncer, a subtle nod, and we walked straight in, skipping the line effortlessly. I held her hand the entire way, grounding both of us. It wasn't just control. It was possession, protection, admiration, all mixed in one. The moment we stepped inside, the music hit. Soca, fast and loud, vibrating through the floor and straight into my chest, and then I saw it, her smile. Bright, uncontainable, lighting up the dim club like she owned the whole place. We moved to the bar, me ordering drinks, watching her scan the room with curiosity, her eyes catching the glow of the lights, the shimmer of the crowd. Every small detail of her presence made something coil in my chest, tightening, warming, dangerous. She was mine to watch tonight, mine to admire even if she didn't know it yet. We made our way to the intimate section that I called ahead for. Small table tucked away from the crowd. Perfect. Space to breathe. Space to watch her glow. She didn't wait. Music overtook her. Hips swaying, shoulders rolling, hands lifted in rhythm to the beat. I watched her. I wanted to move, to step into her rhythm, but I stayed seated. I smiled. I let her have the space. Let her dance free. Every motion she made tore something open inside me. I wanted to reach for her, to pull her close, to tell her how she made my chest ache, but I stayed still. Her joy tonight wasn't about me. It was hers. She glanced at me, eyes sparkling, a silent invitation to join. Her smile widened, teasing, coaxing.
Come on.
I imagined her mouthing it. I shook my head slowly, that smile still tugging at my lips. Not tonight, I told myself silently, letting her have this moment, letting her glow without restraint. I was falling deeper than I'd intended. I watched her dance the night away. Soca pounded through the room, bass vibrating into my chest, but all I could focus on was her. Every glance, every sway of her body, every laugh that escaped her lips, it was all seared into my mind. Time didn't matter. I caught glimpses of her eyes, catching mine briefly. The club's energy didn't reach me, not fully. The bass, the lights, the movement, it was all background to the storm building inside me. I drank her in. The tilt of her head, the way her hair caught the light, every movement of her body, every glance, every pulse of life she carried, and I realized something terrifying. I wasn't just falling for her. I was completely, utterly lost in her, and I didn't even know if she felt the same way. Hours passed, drinks came and went, people moved around us, but she was the center of my universe. My hands rested loosely, but my mind was racing, replaying every sway, every laugh, every glance. She was mine in every way that mattered, even if the words weren't out loud yet. By the time the music softened and the lights brightened, I realized I hadn't looked away once. This night wasn't about dancing. It wasn't about drinks. It wasn't even about the city outside the windows. It was about her. And that right there was enough to keep me tethered, falling, and completely, terrifyingly alive.
The ride back felt like it lasted an eternity. The city lights outside were nothing but a blur, the world beyond the glass fading into the background. My mind wasn't on the streets. It was on Malik. I was tipsy, not drunk, just warm all over and a little too aware of how good I felt. My body was buzzing, and it wasn't just the liquor, it was Malik. The way he'd been watching me all night while I danced, like I belonged to him in every way possible, like I was doing it just for him, and maybe I was. We hadn't even made it back to the house yet, and I already knew I wasn't going to wait. The ride was quiet, but thick with tension. The streetlights kept flashing through the windshield, washing his face in gold and shadow. His hand rested on the wheel, but I could feel his eyes cutting over to me every few seconds, heavy, full of heat. I shifted in my seat, thighs pressed tight, my skin tingling from the way he looked at me without saying a word. I reached down, slow and deliberate, letting my fingers play along the edge of my shorts. I knew he saw me. I could feel it in the way the engine hummed harder beneath us, the way he suddenly pressed on the gas just a little more. I pulled my shorts and thong down, let them hit the car floor. I let the seat recline back a bit, arching my back, spreading my legs just enough to tease. My eyes fluttered shut as I inserted 2 fingers inside, needing something, anything to take the edge off. Leak let out a breath, sharp and quiet, like he was trying to keep it together. I heard him mutter something under his breath, low and rough. Then I felt it, his fingers on me, just for a second, slow and smooth, dragging across my clit. I gasped, eyes flying open just in time to see him lift that same hand and slide his finger into his mouth, tasting me without even blinking. Still watching the road, still in control, my whole body trembled. I gripped the seat, breathing uneven, chasing a high I couldn't stop even if I wanted to. I need you, I whimpered, voice thick with need.
I know.
He said, deep and hoarse. And when that release hit me, it took everything. I melted into the seat, legs shaking, heart racing like I just ran through a storm. He glanced over, face unreadable, but I knew what was behind those eyes. I knew we were just getting started. By the time we pulled into the parking garage, every second felt like a build-up to something inevitable. I could already feel the heat in my body, the slow burn of wanting something I couldn't control. When the elevator doors opened and we stepped into the penthouse, I didn't even think about it. I couldn't. I stepped toward him as the door clicked shut behind us, grabbing him by the collar of his shirt and pulling him in. I couldn't hold back. I let him lead me backward, my hands moving without hesitation to the waistband of his pants, undoing the zipper. He didn't stop me, didn't slow me down. His hands were already on me, roaming over my body with a raw urgency. His fingers slid under my shirt, pushing it up, and I didn't stop him. I needed him to touch me, needed him inside me. I broke the kiss just long enough to unzip my shorts, sliding them down along with my thong. I pressed him back onto the sofa, forcing him into a sitting position. I straddled him, feeling the heat of him against me. My hands cupped his face, pulling him into another kiss, deeper this time, as I lowered myself onto him, the slow, deliberate movement sending a wave of heat through my body. His hands gripped my waist, holding me in place, his eyes never leaving mine as I began to move. There was a rhythm to it, an instinct between us. I rose and fell against him, slowly at first, but it didn't take long before the tension between us became unbearable. Every shift, every movement made me feel like I was losing control of my own body, and it felt damn good.
Jay, shit.
His groan vibrated through me as I picked up the pace, the feeling of him inside me, pushing deeper with every move. I bit my lip, fighting the urge to say it, the words that were clawing their way up my throat. The words that felt too big, too raw, too real. I couldn't let them out. Not yet. Not when everything was happening too fast. My hands gripped his shoulders as I rode him harder, faster. The room felt too small, the air too thick, and everything faded into the background. It was just him, just me, just this moment. My breath came in sharp bursts, my chest heaving with each movement, the pleasure building with every second, like I was being consumed by him. And then a tear slipped from my eye against my will. It fell, tracing a line down my cheek, the weight of it a stark contrast to the heat that was consuming me from the inside out. I didn't wipe it away. I couldn't. It was the only thing that felt real, the only thing keeping me grounded in the storm of feeling that threatened to take over. Malik's gaze stays fixed on mine, and as a tear falls from my eye, he leans in slightly, his tongue brushing it away with a subtle, almost tender motion. This wasn't the first time he was inside of me, but I swear every time he was, it felt like it was something I never felt before. There were no words for it. I bit my tongue, swallowing back the words that were begging to escape. The pace between us quickened, our bodies slick with sweat, the friction between us rising higher with every second. The pressure inside me was building, tightening, and I could feel the edge of it. And then, just as everything inside me broke, a tear slipped again, and another tear, harder this time. My body trembled as I came undone, my grip on him tightening, my body going limp against his. As I unraveled, his body followed mine, and I felt him release, the warmth spreading inside me. Malik's hands were still on me, guiding me through the last waves of pleasure, his body moving with mine until we were both left panting, connected in the aftermath. But in the stillness, as my breath slowed and the world outside the penthouse seemed to return, I couldn't ignore it. The truth that was burning inside me, the thing I hadn't said. Not yet. I love him. I love him. I love him.
Coming up on part 8.
Bye. I'm coming to Guyana.
You think I'm trying to hurt you? After everything I've done to keep you safe.
Wow. So I finally hit a nerve with you, I see.
You don't know what the fuck you're talking about.